Did you know that vitamin D is one of the most important vitamins our bodies need to maintain a healthy immune system? Did you also know that more people are deficient in vitamin D than any other vitamin on the planet? Without enough vitamin D on a daily basis, our immune systems are weakened, our bone density is compromised, and our bodies are much more vulnerable to sickness and disease. Thanks for stopping by to learn more about the LiveGood's vitamin D3 and K2 with 2000 units of D3 gives your body the highest quality vitamin D available anywhere, at optimal levels so you get the most out of every dose. Like all the other LiveGood products, the LiveGood Vitamin D3-K2 is made with the highest quality ingredients and raw materials and made in the same manufacturing facilities as many other super high-end products and supplements. In this video you will be hearing Ryan Goodkin, the Director of Product Development at LiveGood, and Lisa Goodkin, the Director of Product Education at LiveGood, discuss and give you all the information you need to know about the LiveGood Vitamin D3-K2. For additional information about how you can get the LiveGood Vitamin D3-K2, check out the description of this video below.
Boom, we're live.
Right. Hello, everyone. Lisa and Ryan
Hello.
here. And today we're discussing our vitamin D3 with K2. It's vitamin D3 2000. Vitamin D3 is also known as your sunshine vitamin. Why? Because your body makes it with sun exposure.
In response to sun.
Sure,
Exposure. There you go.
But the biggest problem is, first of all, we've been told not to be in the sun too much. We've been told to wear sunscreen, we wear hats, we wear sun shirts, we avoid those prime time sun exposure where we could also get burnt. And we also live in climates that don't have the right amount of sun, especially year round. So those are real reasons why we also don't get the vitamin D from the sun that we need. And food sources, it's very, very, very limited in our food sources. Really, it's only fatty fish, egg yolks, mushrooms, and then it's fortified in like cereals, junk that we should not be eating. And I'm sure you see it by you'll see Lucky Charms fortified with vitamin D. Okay, we don't want that. But Ryan's gonna explain to you all about the science of vitamin D, what it does to our body and why our bodies really need it.
Yeah, you're spot on. But if you say you were out in the sun, say you're not on cholesterol medication like statins, say you have your face exposed, your arms exposed, your legs exposed, your hands exposed, and you're out in the sun between 5 and 30 minutes, you could generate up to 20,000 units of vitamin D. So that's what is supposed to happen. It doesn't happen as well as it's supposed to, or isn't occurring like that anymore. Like you said, climate, of course, geography, where we live, our jobs. Are we working between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m.? Because those are your time, right? Most of us are indoors. So getting enough sun exposure is hard. And now the task force and people are saying, well, look, you don't want, and by the way, it's the UVB rays. So it's ultraviolet radiation B, which is also the UV ray responsible for burning, sunburn. So 5 to 30 minutes of prime time sun, potentially now you're burning, and the skin, the advice around skin is like she said, physical blocks, sunscreens, sun shirt, right? That's the hats. I mean, the whole nine. So it's a little bit challenging. And there are certain other things too that can affect the production of vitamin D from the sun. Like I mentioned, statin drugs, they actually interfere with it because the UVB, the ultraviolet radiation B, will actually interact with the cholesterol in your cutaneous layer of your skin, layer. So when it hits the skin, it interacts with cholesterol to make vitamin D. Now, she said foods, there's sun, and then of course there's supplementation. Now, they all produce basically the same type of vitamin D, the mineral, or I'm sorry, not the mineral, the vitamin. There's two types. There's vitamin D2 and there's D3. Now, D3 is what we choose to put in here, and that's the cholecalciferol. Now, what happens though, what's important here is it's basically biologically inert until it goes to the liver and gets converted into calcidiol. Again, that's not really going to do much for us. That's not what is the, main player in vitamin D or in the hormone. So then it goes to the kidney, it gets converted to calcitriol, and that is the active hormone. So as it starts as a vitamin, it converts to a hormone. And that's where all the magic starts to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. Something else I'm sure most people don't know is that vitamin D is actually a hormone in the body.
Exactly. Right. Plays a really big role in a lot of things. So do we want to talk about that?
What's the role?
Let's go. Let's do it. But first and foremost, it's bone. It's bone strength, it's bone density. It plays a tissue in the muscles, and tendons, and ligaments that surround the bones. Obviously helps prevent osteoporosis as we age. I would say that's the primary, most widely known and studied purpose of vitamin D. And we're seeing obviously a lot of osteoporosis as people age, especially in women, menopausal, postmenopausal. And so vitamin D, as a matter of fact, the daily recommended daily allowance it increases for people over the age of 70. Right. So, and they make less, their body, they don't get as much sun exposure. Most elderly people tend to be indoors more, and their body's not capable of making as much.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And then now also a lot of evidence supporting things like cardiovascular health, immunity, and mood. Really kind of those three. And there's other areas, but they've shown that there's receptors for vitamin D in the glia and the neurons in the brain, which is really important. That's like a lot of and specifically the areas related to depression and study for depression. So being studied and advanced further now in talking about its benefits for major depressive disorders. Wow. Yeah, that's huge. That's a really, really big one. And then immune function, which
really came out, which was really highlighted with COVID-19.
Oh, right? Sure. Yeah.
The whole immunity.
Oh, of course, of course. Immune health is a big one now for vitamin D. Cardiovascular disease as well. So there's receptors now that are showing benefit to the vitamin D in heart disease, heart attack, stroke. So yeah, big stuff. Yeah, really big stuff. All right, what's next, Lise?
Well, few questions.
Okay, let's see.
Do those questions.
Yeah, okay.
I am vegan. Can I take vitamin D?
Well, unfortunately, unfortunately not. This is the origin is from the wool, wool of I want to say lamb.
Yeah.
Sheep. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah. So no, unfortunately not. But the vitamin D3 with K2 that we have in here is in a vegetable capsule, and gluten-free, dairy-free, common allergen-free, soy-free. So, but unfortunately, no, we cannot say that it's vegan friendly.
Okay. Another question is why? So this is 2,000 units. Okay. International units. Why 2,000? How do I know what I need?
Oh, sure. Great.
Also, the instructions are take 1 to 2, what do I need?
Yeah, no, great question. Okay. So this is where I'd like to tell you guys that if you have the opportunity to meet with your doctor, if you have a doctor and you get blood work done, have them draw your vitamin D levels, get your vitamin D levels. So right now, like there's what's the one agency? Well, anyway, so the vitamin D levels are stratified. So if you're deficient, you're technically deficient in vitamin D if you're 12 nanograms or less per milliliter in your blood. So this is if they take your blood, your serum levels. You're deficient under 12. Between 12 and 20, they say it's basically adequate. Now, those numbers tend to be very much on the low end of what the newer kind of evidence that's coming out supports. Like the Endocrine Society says they want levels above 30 nanograms per milliliter.
But we want optimal.
Then and that's where it kind of becomes, kind of up to the person, right? There's a lot of variability between people, but 30 to 50 is probably a decent range, right? That's a good goal area. Lisa, on the other hand, she likes to be above 50. Some people like to be above 50. The reason why we selected 2,000 units of vitamin D3 is because that should, for most people, put you in between that 30 and 50 nanograms per milliliter blood level.
But you can also adjust by just taking more. And that's why we also have 60 capsules in here. So if your body only needs the 2,000, I mean, this is a 2-month supply. But if based on your levels, you need more, you could double, you could triple, do what you need to do. Yeah.
Oh, that was the Food and Nutrition Board. That's who did. And they had a committee though. They had a committee that reviewed the evidence and came up with it and showed where deficiency and inadequacy kind of gets stratified. But I think prevailing belief now is to be above 30. And so that 2,000 should get you there. And like Lisa said, if you wanted to go to 4,000, I would suggest doing that under, say, the guidance of a provider or knowing your blood levels. And then you can kind of maintain the levels that are best for you.
And why is it important not to take too much?
Oh, good question. Yeah, we do get that question a lot. And it's because it's a fat soluble vitamin. So vitamin A, D, E, and K, those 4. So this has vitamin D and K, but the vitamin D can cause toxicity because the fat soluble vitamins can deposit in the tissues And if you take too much, they can have toxicity, and the toxicity would present as like, it could potentially raise calcium to dangerous levels. It could cause kidney issues, big issues with the kidney, could cause kidney stones. And it's pretty rare, right?
Right, but it can.
But it can. So if you just jumped into vitamin D and started taking 10,000 units a day without knowing anything, there might be some risk there. And that's probably where Lisa and I would agree about the upper, like tolerable upper limit is probably around 10,000 units a day.
And a lot of times it's true. I mean, first of all, it is true that it can take up to 6 months to actually get your vitamin D levels to where you want them to be based on your, your blood work. So you can also get your levels there with a higher dose, and then you could lower the dose to work on a maintenance to try to keep it there.
Yeah.
So again, it's just it is one thing that is extremely important to know based on your blood work. And every time you get your blood work done with your physician, they should be testing D3. But if they're not, just make sure. Just double check, stay on top of it. It's your health. But you did mention right there that we have a K2.
Right.
Why?
Yeah, no, K2. So another fat soluble vitamin, vitamin K is there's some genes that are that encode proteins that are activated by vitamin D. So having K on board will help. Well, it may also help absorption of the drug through the stomach, but it also is going to help increase the utilization of vitamin D as well as calcium. That's pretty critical, because again, that whole pathway is designed to be run together for bone density, bone strength.
Okay. And I know there's a small minority of a group that cannot have vitamin K. What group is that typically, and should they avoid?
Yeah, I mean, some of the folks that are taking anticoagulants, like Coumadin is one that works on the vitamin K pathway, and so those folks, and that's kind of being more phased out. Most anticoagulants now don't work the same way as Coumadin. But for those people, yeah, I think vitamin K, they're advised to watch out the vitamin K rich foods. And so vitamin K supplement would also be a caution.
Okay. And then we talked about that it's fat soluble. So
Yes.
Does that mean to take with food, without food, with other supplements?
No, good. Yeah, for sure. Good question. Because we always try to suggest that people take it, say, at your first meal of the day and with fat. Now, you don't have to take it with fat and with food, but you want to stay consistent either way. You will absorb more when taken with food, because again, fat soluble. So we like to say, hey, take it with food, a little bit of fat. An example of that would be like maybe a little bit of egg or something when you break your fast, or an avocado, you say. I know you like,
Sure.
Right? But consistently do it that way. It's every single day. You try to take it early in the day. And I know there's been some new literature that's supporting taking it early in the day because of. You want to comment on that, or you want me to go there?
Well, it can help you sleep better at night.
Yeah, it can help you sleep better at night. Right. It suppresses some of the melatonin. So again, kind of falling back into that ancestral concept where your first thing you do upon sunrise is you're getting out there, your eyes are adapting to the sunlight, the sleep awake cycle is being activated by the sunlight, suppressing melatonin, you're making vitamin D, right? You're out moving. And so again, taking this early part of the day is good. I would never take it at night. I don't recommend that, but early morning, afternoon, but not at night.
Okay. Just a question that I have that you guys might have as well. A lot of people do intermittent fasting, and everybody's schedule is very different. So say someone's doing intermittent fasting and they actually don't break their fast until like 2 p.m., but they want to take their supplement. They would rather take the vitamin D earlier. Can they take it with factor 4 because there's the fish oil in it? Does that fat help the absorption?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that's an easy way to do it. So first thing in the morning, if you're fasting, you can still take your vitamin D3, take it with your 1 serving of your factor 4.
Yeah.
Voila.
Good advice. Yeah.
Okay.
Voila.
Any reason to not take it with any supplements? Any contraindication?
Not really. No, I wouldn't say so, actually. Vitamin D, no. There's a reason why we didn't put it in the multi-dose, because we want you to understand the dosing and be able to tailor it, move it a little bit and adjust it.
Right. Because
Right.
you will see in other like multivitamins, other companies, they have vitamin D in there, but it's just a little bit.
A little bit.
So like, what's the point of just having a little bit? Like, we want to make something to have like a therapeutic effect. So that's the point of taking something, right? To actually do
Sure.
what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, well, let's just throw out there the price. $8.50 for members, guys.
Oh, wow.
Simple. $8.50 for
60
members. And again, if
capsules.
you also only need, if you only need
Crazy.
2,000 units a day, you have 2 months worth for $8.50.
Yeah.
If you're not a member, $17.50. So right there, it pays to be a member. But prices, I mean, there's no reason to not take your D3.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's very, very few circumstances I can think of that you would not take it, right? Like, Yeah, no, absolutely. Very important to do. Most people now too, clinically, you're seeing at least 50% of the population has insufficiency. And some of those can actually have a deficiency. And if you're having a deficiency, and especially it's a shame because young infants and children really need that, and they're not getting enough out of the breast milk. And so not that this of course could be used for the infants, but you're seeing it. And then like I said earlier, you need more of it the older you get, just because we're not absorbing as well, we're not making as much of it, and it's very important. Very important.
Yes, and I honestly think the recommended daily value is only like 600 international units.
It's 600 up to 70, and then goes to 800.
800, yeah. So that's also very low. I mean, we know that we need more than that. That's why starting at 2,000 is the way to go. I just lost my train of thought. I had another question. It was in my head, but I can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that. We said take it in the morning or the afternoon. Don't take it in the evening.
Right.
D3-K2, 2,000 units. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you guys have any other questions, I mean, you know, it's a fairly simple supplement, but also a very, very, very important supplement.
Exactly.
We are here for your questions. Always love the feedback, but make sure you are taking your vitamin D3 every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Y'all have a great and productive week. See ya next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.